Good evening. We would like to begin our program and welcome to the class of 2026. How about give yourselves a hand? On behalf of the administration, staff, and students of Lisle High School, I would like to welcome all of you to this evening's orientation for the incoming class of 2026. My name is Jeff Howard, and it is my privilege to serve here as the principal. This is one of my favorite evenings of the year. 8th graders who have climbed to the top of the junior high hill come here tonight to discover the high school mountain that awaits them. Over the last 10 to 15 years, academic research has pointed to the 8th to 9th grade transition as one of the predictors of a student's successful future. Obviously, the changes students encounter when moving to high school are great, considering the academic, social, and personal changes students are juggling all at once. One of the great advantages of the Lisle School District is the fact that students making this shift to high school are generally familiar with their peers, and the smaller enrollment allows for the development of important relationships with teachers and staff. In larger districts, the relationship process completely restarts in 9th grade as students have virtually no familiarity with their surroundings, their teachers, or their peers. For our 9th graders, we encourage the maintenance of positive relationships, but at the same time, provide an environment where students are comfortable enough to develop new relationships and expand their interests beyond what they have been accustomed to. Tonight, the class of 2026 will take their first steps into high school, and we want to welcome them with open arms to our One Pride. One Pride has a very special meaning for us here at the high school. It reflects the passion and purpose our students develop as they overcome rigorous challenges and find their relevance beyond Lisle into adulthood. Our collaboration and support for each other is another component that sets us apart from larger schools. No matter what problems students may encounter, someone here, an administrator, a staff member, another student, will help them get through it. That is actually pretty special. Tonight, while we cannot show you all of the opportunities that we have to offer, we hope that you will leave with a feeling of excitement regarding the potential of what next year will bring. At this time, I'd like to get started by first introducing my administrative team. Mr. O'Hara is our Dean of Students. He's unable to be with us this evening, but I would like to introduce our Assistant Principal of Curriculum and Instruction, Ms. Sherry Costello. Stand up, Sherry. That's all you got? Let's see how you do on this one. Our Assistant Principal of Student Services, Ms. Jen Zimmerman. And our Athletic and Activities Director, Mr. Tom Markham. I want to spend just a few minutes addressing what we are going to do tonight. If you have had students go through here before and have attended this orientation, it's going to be a little bit different. We're taking the perspective tonight of completing a freshman schedule. You've walked in here, you really don't have any idea, you haven't had a kid that has been through high school. How are we completing this schedule? Because that's really what we're in the process of doing right now. The current 8th graders, all of you, the class of 2026, are working on completing your schedule for next school year. And so in a few minutes, I'm going to bring up our school counselors, and they are going to explain what the graduation requirements are, what classes are required next year that you don't really have a choice in what you take, What options are there in terms of electives? And then ultimately, Sherry and Jen will come up here and they'll talk about things like getting on Powerschool and actually registering for those classes. And Tom will talk about what co-curricular activities are available to you as you enter your freshman year. Finally, as we go through the night, we're each going to take a little piece of the website. This is the high school website. I don't know how familiar you are or how much you utilize the junior high website, but I want to show you where things are. A lot of the feedback we get on the website is, I can never find what I'm looking for. And so I just want to point out a couple of things and where they're at on the website. The first page for us, and the most important page in terms of the initial introduction to the high school, is the About page. And there are quite a few things on this page, but what I want to draw your attention to are three things. On the right-hand side, you can see a number of different links, and we put the second one down as Class of 2026 information. When you click on that, there are a number of links that we are going to have ready for you to go, probably beginning tomorrow. The first link is the video website that everyone who's not here tonight is going to click on to kind of get a tour of the school, and all of the information that we're going to present tonight is on that video. That link is there. Also, that's too little for me. Also, in your folders that you have, you should have received a timeline with information regarding for the class of 2026 that is also available electronically here at that class of 2026 web link. We are recording this presentation tonight. That will be on the website. This slideshow will be on the website. We also have created a Screencastify for how to go into Powerschool and sign up for your courses. That will be here, and we're providing directions for doing that as well, just verbal directions. Those will be in this area as well. Most of our communication at the high school, from my office, from our administrative team, from the school to the community, comes through our principal's message. We used to do the principal's message once a month at the beginning of the month. Then COVID hit, and I found myself needing to communicate a lot. And so it's just kind of carried over from that. We send out the principal's message every Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. And you can access it even if you don't get it. You only get it if you're here. But if you're at the junior high, you can come to the website. Here on the left side circle, you can access all of the principal's messages if you want to see what's happening at the high school. And then the third circle I have down there is the dean's office, and that part of our website contains a lot of forms, things once you get here that you'll want, like a date form for homecoming if your date is coming from another school. How many of you date kids from other schools? Yeah? No? Maybe? No? Okay. So information like that, parking information, all of those forms are loaded there on the dean's office. Anyway, I hope you get something out of tonight. I hope all of your questions can be answered. As we go through all of this, once we finish, we are going to have our department heads who are here this evening. They will be out in the commons area if you have specific questions regarding placement or requirements or anything from within the department. You want to talk to the math guy or you want to talk to the English lady, they're going to be out there. So, not the cat lady, the English lady. Also out there is our booster club selling Lyle's Spiritware, and we have a representative from the Technology Center of DuPage. That is a huge option for some of our upperclassmen. We want to introduce you to that this evening as well. So with that, I would like to get started and introduce our two school counselors. Karen Irvine, whose student caseload contains all with all the last names A through L, and there's Miss Irvine, and Kendra Meyer, whose caseload is M through Z. They're going to take you through the next step here. Thank you.
Good evening. We got to go to the junior high on Monday, so if your child did not tell you that we visited them, we did. As mentioned, I'm Mrs. Meyer, so at the end of the Alpha, Mrs. Irvine, beginning of the Alpha. We coin toss, so I'm presenting, and she is going to be doing an interpretive dance, all the different things that I'm going to go over, so this will be really, really good and entertaining. First of all, what I didn't get to go over, and Mrs. Irvine didn't get to go over while we're there on Monday, is your class is going to grow a little bit. So those of you who've been through Lyle the entire time from kindergarten on up, when you enter Lyle Senior High School, there'll be some new students that join your class. So whether they're transfers from other schools or other states, and we have, I think, 3 coming from St. Joan of Arc. So you'll have some new students in your classes. So that is going to be something different. Those who are from out of district, you should have gotten a folder that has a few extra pieces to it as far as registering and all the different things that you'll need. Our registrar, Judy Hochstetter, will be the person, your point person here. And I believe most of you, I think, have been through this already. So just a reminder to give her a call and she'll go through those things with you. Okay, so next we have our graduation requirements. So students, I know it's up there, but how many credits do you need to graduate from high school? 22. Okay, and that's Lyle Senior High School. So it can be different for other schools, but we need 22. Excellent. Way to shout that out. So this is all on our website as well. Under Student Services and Guidance, you'll find our course registration guide, and that information is in there. So I'm not going to bother you by reading all of this, but these are the requirements that your child will need to take. Mrs. Irvine and I will sit down with them every year and go over this and see what's left for them to take. Next, we'll go over what each year is required. This is in the back of the course registration guide. So if you're wanting to see this and kind of plan out with your son or daughter, you can get that. However, there was a blue sheet that should have came home on Monday that has all 4 years and what you need to take that's required for those 4 years, for each year. Okay, so we have the freshman, sophomore, and then the junior, senior slides. So a little different on each one. But again, we will plan with them each and every year. Plans change, we know that. So that's something that we always discuss with our students. And then next, we gave your child a sample. So this is a sample. This is not what your child's schedule is, or it could be, who knows. But this is a basic freshman schedule, okay? So we have 5 classes that are required during freshman year, okay? Your child has been placed in those 5 areas, and you can see that in Powerschool. So we have world history. There could be AP Human Geography. We have Algebra 1. There is also Algebra Core, and there's Geometry, and there's Honors Geometry. We are all at different levels, and that's fine, okay? So everybody will start at the placement in math where your test scores showed that you should be placed, okay? So again, math is one of those that we all are different in math. We might struggle with math, we might be really good at math, and wherever you are is exactly where you need to be, okay? English 1 or honors English. We have biology or honors biology. Everybody takes physical education, okay? Students, do you need to have a foreign language to graduate from Lisle Senior High School? That is correct. You do not need a foreign language. That seems to be like the #1 question, that we need to have that. And you do not need to have a foreign language. However, who sometimes wants to see it on your transcript? Yeah, some colleges are going to want to see at least 2 years of the same foreign language. Not all, okay, but some. So this is a basic schedule, our times of our class periods. And like I said, your child has been placed in these 5 classes, so you'll be able to see that. You can ask the department heads questions about their placement, or Mrs. Costello and Mrs. Zimmerman also. Next, we have a plethora of college credit courses. They're called AP, Advanced Placement. And so these are all the advanced placement classes that we offer here at Lisle Senior High School. What does advanced placement mean? It means that they could end up with college credit. So our students who are taking AP courses right now is a college level course. Actually, if you went to any college campus, these would be the courses that are being taught to the freshmen on college campuses. So they are preparing for an exam that happens in May. All of our AP students are preparing for this exam. And if they score at least a 3, 4, or a 5, 5 being the highest, they could end up with some college credit before they even set foot on the college campus. So that's what AP is all about. Our next possible college credit classes are our dual credit classes. What that means is they get credit for us, and then they get, if they earn a C or better in that class, they can get 3 credits from the College of DuPage, okay? And so as we stated on Monday, that doesn't mean that I'm going to College of DuPage, which, by the way, great choice, okay? But those credits can follow you wherever you go, okay? Next, we have Mrs. Costello, who's going to come and talk about each of our departments. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Sherry Costello, and I have the honor of being an assistant principal here for curriculum and instruction. And one of the fun things I get to do tonight is introduce you to some really excellent people that I have the privilege of working with. Our department head team is our go-to people for curriculum knowledge, instruction, and working with our teachers to make sure that our instruction and our student experiences are absolutely the best they can be. So I am very happy to work with these awesome people, and I'm going to ask that they stand up and wave and stay standing as we kind of go down the line. I will start with our department chair for social studies, is Miss Christine Jagley. At the freshman level, we offer, as I think Ms. Meyer kind of reiterated, world history and AP human geography. And yes, that is an AP course for our freshmen. And if you have some questions about that, Ms. Jagley is happy to answer those. It is a wonderful entry point for our students. And the design of the course is to help our students be ready to continue to succeed in an AP track. However, it is not the same as dropping a student into a junior or senior level AP course. It is designed to be for freshmen. So rest assured there will be a learning curve, there'll be a process of working together and supporting the student to bring them up with those skills so that they're well positioned for their future. Our second department head I'd like to introduce is Mr. Ron Jagley for mathematics. In the math department, you will take either some level of Algebra 1, you will take a level of geometry or honors geometry. As you know, at the junior high, students take different math courses, and that prepares them for the next level at the high school. We use the experience that our students have at the junior high, along with their test scores, along with their teacher recommendations, to help determine what's the best fit for our students. Obviously, a student needs to continue through algebra, so if a student has been in 8th grade mathematics in the junior high, they will go into some level of algebra. If, however, they've succeeded in algebra at the junior high, they will be in some level of geometry. We'll talk some more about where you can see your students' recommendations in Powerschool in a moment. The next person I'd like to introduce is our English Department Chair, Ms. Sarah Maldry. In our English department, as a freshman, you'll take some level of English 1, and that would be English 1 or Honors English 1. And in addition, we do offer a reading course for our students that we see from their experiences in the past and their test scores. We recognize that they would need some support in their reading comprehension abilities. We do have a course for them that is taught by reading specialists and really helps to move our students in a direction to succeed in the rest of their high school career. As you can imagine, all of our content needs to be accessed, and a great part through reading, so we want to make sure our students are prepared. The next core area department head I'd like to introduce is from our wellness department, and that is Ms. Mia Peretta. All of our 9th grade students take Physical Education 1. It's a full year course, and embedded in that course is instruction on both social emotional well-being as well as team sports and fitness. So you'll have a lot of opportunities to experience different things through that course. And our last department head for our science department is unable to join us tonight, but I would still be happy to introduce Ms. Becky Schwartz. As a 9th grader in the science department, students will take either biology or honors biology. And again, we talked about how your student is placed into those courses. The departments have worked very hard with their counterparts at the 8th grade, looked at both class grades, standardized test scores, and had conversation with the teachers in terms of understanding the student as a learner in order to make those placements. The second group of people, although there's overlap, that I'd like to introduce are the elective area department heads. Many of our departments are embedded together. So for example, I'm going to reintroduce Ms. Chris Jagley. She is our social studies and business department. All of our business courses that serve as electives are only one semester, so students have the ability to take multiple courses, and this is the department that she oversees. Many options in the business world for our students. We have, again, I want to talk about our wellness department head, Ms. Mia Peretta. In our wellness department, we also have our driver's education program, which some of our students as freshmen will qualify for in their second semester. And there's always a lot of questions about driver's ed, and Ms. Peretta knows all the answers. So if you need questions about driver's ed, she'll be in the comments. She is also in charge of our family and consumer sciences department, which offers foods classes as well as child development classes and an introduction to education. So there are a lot of choices for our freshmen in the wellness department. Our next department head you have not yet met, and she is our department head for world language, Miss Amy Renguso. Our world languages that are offered in our building are French and Spanish, and as you are mostly aware, I'm sure, at the junior high, many of our students engage in those languages for 1 or 2 years, and then they come to us ready to start in an advanced level. If your student was not in those courses but does have advanced skills already in a language, then you need to seek out Ms. Renguso so you can have a conversation. We want to make sure our students are placed where their ability level is, and so that would be something that she can work with you on. The next department head for our elective department is unable to join us tonight, but I still would have to like to introduce you to our fine arts department chair, Mr. Jim Stelmacher. Mr. Stelmacher oversees our fine arts department, which consists of our art courses, our band courses, and our choral music program. We have, again, a lot of opportunities. Art courses are all 1 semester, and so there's an opportunity for students to take multiple courses in sequence, even as a freshman. Our band courses and our choir programs are rather robust. As I'm sure you're aware, our band was just over at the junior high the other day. How many people saw them playing for you on Wednesday, the kids? Did you get to see the band? They're all on Twitter and they're doing a great job. And I believe our choir has been over or will be soon. So we invite you to be part of those programs as well. Our last department that I'd already mentioned, Miss Becky Schwartz, who was unable to be with us, not only oversees science, but also our engineering courses and our industrial technology courses and our computer science courses. Several of these courses are also where you earn dual credit, so very important places for you to get information. While you're trying to decide what course to take, the course registration guide is your best option. That is available to you on the website. It is a rather long document, so we don't print paper copies, but please reference that. Your students can take a look at those course descriptions to better understand what choices they want to make. The next thing I'd like to show you is the website. As Mr. Howard said, we use our website to communicate a great deal, and there's a few pieces on our academics page that I'd like to point out. As you'll see on the far left, the departments are listed there, and if you click on any one of those departments, it will open up to the department head page. You'll be able to see the teachers, and as well as all of the syllabi for our courses are posted. So if you have any questions about the curriculum and the content that is taught, that's one good place to look. If you refer over to the right side, you'll see that tab for the course registration guide. This is the key that you will use to unlock all of our course descriptions and to know what choices you want to make as a student. It contains all of the information that Ms. Meyer spoke about as far as graduation requirements as well, and that four-year plan document is in there for you to reference. And lastly, the Library Resource Center is an absolutely phenomenal perk that we have at Lyle High School. We not only have a wonderful library and a media center in the building, but she has a website that is extremely robust and offers connections to a tremendous amount of resources. That will be including in that are your summer reading courses. So when you look at your summer reading work, which is embedded in your folder somewhere, hint, 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 that will be a place where you can reference the access to those materials. The last thing I need to show you in my portion of the presentation is exactly how on earth do I find these courses and tell you at the high school that this is the course I want to take or my student wants to take. So I'm going to show you real briefly overview. This material that I'm giving you right now is in print in your folder. It is also available in print online, and it is available as a screencastify as a live video for you, or a recorded video to walk through the process. When you go into Powerschool, if you are new to our district, this will come after you register, and we will provide you with these tools along the way. If your student is already part of our district, you should be able to log into Powerschool, and on that landing page, you'll see where it says course registration. If you click on that, it will open up into this next page. There's a lot of information on here that you need to read carefully when you're working through this. This is the process that our guidance counselors worked with the students on earlier this week to walk through. So your students have all seen this. It's important for you to see all the important parts. What you'll see at the very top are those two little boxes, and those are your PE classes that all students are required to take. If you look at the bottom in the big blue box, or purple, you will see the core courses that your student has been placed into. This is where you're going to find, is my student registered for geometry or honors geometry? Is my student registered for biology or AP Human Geo, and what have you? So this is where you want to go into the computer to see. Your students have all seen this, and hopefully they came home and shared the information with you. If you have any questions or concerns about placement, that's what our department heads are going to be available to talk about. So please feel free to visit them in the comments. The other piece that you need to do actively in this system is to choose the elective courses. This is what the students did with the counselors the other day, but those were preliminary choices. As a parent, we certainly want you to be involved in this conversation, so we ask that you discuss with your child what they chose and what their long-term plan looks like, and then using the tools, the information in the course registration guide, you can help to make that final decision. These materials will be open until you have a timeline in your folder, and I believe it's February 11th is the date in which is the final date where these choices that you've made in Powerschool become finalized and we lock the system. That's when we start to make decisions about what classes and what time they run and how many teachers we need and so on. So you have until then to make any changes, and what you'll do is go in and click on the little red pencils on the far right. They will open up into the lists of choices that your student has for courses. You will simply check the courses that you wish to select and then click OK. And at the bottom, you will see the total courses will accumulate. And when it turns into a green check mark, it means you've done it right and it's all ready. You can hit submit. Once you hit submit, you have the ability to return to it and change it at any time until February 11th. So please do not be afraid that something has become unequivocally finished, because that's not the case until then. If, again, you have any questions about courses, all of the department heads and the counselors are available. Thank you for understanding and listening to my spiel about how we register for courses. It is my pleasure to introduce my colleague that I have enjoyed working with for these last several years, who is our Assistant Principal for Student Services, Jen Zimmerman.
Good evening. I was also at the junior high on Monday, and I have to say that I was impressed with the class of 2026. We had a great time. They were very attentive, and many of them did hit submit, but as Ms. Costello said, they can go back and make those changes. There are some that did not, but you have again till February 11th. As Ms. Costello said, I'm the Assistant Principal for Student Services, so this is to make sure. I always say it's the most important department in the high school, because if we don't have students well, they can't do anything. They can't do academics, they can't do athletics, they can't do social situations and those types of things. So this is my great team. I have the counselors, Mrs. Irvine and Mrs. Meyer, our school psychologist, Mr. Moderia. There are two people up here that you should know from the junior high or have seen around the junior high, and that's Mrs. Shum, who is in charge of ELL, and Elena Pivick, who is our speech path. So they go to both buildings. So if you've seen them at the junior high, they are also here at the high school. And then we have our school nurse, Ms. Musbach, and our social worker, Nathan Bialsma. As a little plug from our nurse, please make sure you get your 9th grade physical before school starts. And you cannot have just the athletic form turned in. So we always get freshman parents who say, oh, I turned in the IHSA form. That is great, but that doesn't count as their 9th grade physical, okay? The other thing that we find is if we get a physical, and again, this is, I think also in your folder, is you don't fill out the sheet where the parent fills out and answers yes or no of whether or not your kid has had that. A lot of times that's because the doctor's office just prints it out and you forget to sign it or fill it out and sign it, but you have to sign it and so does your student. So those are usually the spots that when we do have a physical, if we have any issues, those are the two places. We don't have the back side or the front side or filled out, and then the signatures are missing. So if you see Ms. Musbach, tell her I did do my plug, because that is our biggest headache at the beginning of the year. Some things that we do here at Lyle to support the whole child is we go over college and career planning. So I know you're just entering high school, but we'll also be starting talking about looking at what areas are you good at, what areas do you want to explore, what may be an area that you want to do after high school. So that starts kind of early, and it's okay to say I don't know. But we want the kids to be able to explore. We work with executive functioning skills support, our ELL learners, our health services, our speech and language. We do have individual and group counseling. We do crisis intervention. And then there's 2 programs that all freshmen and sophomore go through. All freshmen in the wellness department go through Learning to Breathe, which is a social emotional program. And it is not about, I want to be very clear, it's about how do we get ourselves back into a moment to be able to learn or be able to do a task. So it's how do we, when our mind goes and starts to wander, how do we bring that back? What are some things that we can do internally to bring ourselves back to that task? And then Ending the Silence, which is a NAMI program, is done in the health classes. So those are some things that we support here at the high school. on our website. There's a lot of things on our website. There's a couple of things I want to highlight. Our guidance, and that's where you can click to find all of the information that Mrs. Irvine and Mrs. Meyer provide. There are things there. I also oversee 504s and IEPs, but there are 504 information is there. And we have a new mental health and wellness tab that is throughout all buildings. So a lot of times when something happens or we're not sure where to go if our student is having some problems or our child, and sometimes it's hard to ask for help, but here's a private place you can go to be able to find services in the area from the comfort of your home. But we can always help here too. But if it's something that you want to deal with at home in the privacy of your own home, that mental health and wellness has a lot of resources for you. I think that is all I have. Again, most important department. And then I will turn it over to Mr. Markham, I believe is next, for our athletic department.
Good evening. Thank you for making it this far in the presentation when I know everyone really came to hear about activities and athletics. So thank you for making it through that. So going on from there, it's actually really nice seeing the many familiar faces that I've seen. If you don't know me again, my name's Mr. Markham. I am the Athletics and Activities Director here at the high school. If you've been here in the last 3 years, there's a good chance we've ran into each other, and over the next 4 years, maybe a few nights a week, we'll run into each other again. So thank you for being here again. Looking at some of the items here for tonight, I will also make myself available in the Commons. We have over close to 20 different student activities that we offer at the high school. Those are clubs, those are different types of groups that meet after school, so those are co-curricular activities. We are looking at different options and with student interest in expanding those numbers, but there are always opportunities for growth there. What we're going to get into afterwards will then be the athletics portion. So we have close to 15, 16 different sports that we offer. Those are boys, girls, and co-ed sports, and we have multiple different levels. Those competition levels vary between varsity, junior varsity, sophomore, and freshman. So those are placed on skill level, which I'm sure you guys are very familiar with at the junior high level as well. Some of the many things that we do that go unnoticed with our athletics activities, co-curricular student engagements are some of the learning activities that we have. Student leadership workshop opportunities where we meet monthly to go over things where you can become a better classmate or a better teammate. We also do civic engagement activities. I know softball, baseball just signed up for their civic engagement activity for the spring. They will be donating time throughout the community at Feed My Starving Children. We have several opportunities. We understand that we ask so many things from our community that we want to give back to the community, and that's part of our one pride. That's part of being a student at the school. So as much of a joke as I like to say thank you for being here for athletics and activities, many times I communicate to our students and our families, you are a student and then you are an athlete. And that's the mission and the message that we spread to our students. So we're here first for your grades. Once you do that exceptionally well, then we start talking about the co-curriculars and the athletics. If you will look at the next slide here, I can explain some of the most important things that you may have questions at in regards to next year when you register. So one of the jokes about the sports physical, yes, we need the sports physical. That will be one of the requirements to participate. So sports physicals are usually good for 395 days. If it's expiring, make sure that you're contacting. Any questions you have for tonight, make sure you can reach out, and we have a page in the folder that you can look for more information. The registration link on the bottom left here, you'll see that is our athletic website. Hopefully, if your student has participated in some type of activity at the junior high, you're familiar with the 8 to 18 page. That 8 to 18 page, like I said, has our athletics on there and it has our activities on there, student activities. The registration link is the circled red portion of that. That is where you will register. Every student athlete that participates in an extracurricular or a sport must register. What that gives us, it gives us medical information, it gives us roster information, and that also has that important information, concussion, performance-enhancing supplements, all the mandatory requirements for registering. I'm sure you guys are very well familiar with that at the junior high. If you have any questions, feel free to ask those afterwards. Some other pieces we have over here would be links to our district's website in terms of athletics, and that's where you can find who your coaches are, you can find what sports, what seasons we have, you can also find the medical forms that are required. So you can see the listings for sports. A cool thing that we have, I'm not going to stand here and act like I'm technology savvy because I really am not, but in your folder you will see QR codes. The important piece with the QR code, what you're going to find, there's a student activity QR code. You can toggle on that code and fill out who is or what your student is interested in. Any of the student activities that we have, all of our listings will be there. And then on the back side of that would be our athletics portion. So you can let us know anything and everything. If your student is interested in everything, please click and select everything. We will literally, from that data, we will give the information to the coaches. The coaches will be, and sponsors and moderators will be reaching out and getting in contact. We have several offerings the rest of this school year for junior high students. I know we've already did many things in the first portion of the first semester, but we have some offerings coming up in the second semester as well, to where we can hopefully bridge some of the gap and get some of the athletes and students in our building. But then again, like I said, coaches and moderators will be reaching out and giving you summer camp information or just connecting some dots and introducing themselves so we can hopefully get as many kids as we can participate. It's my goal that every student here participates in some type of co-curricular, whether that's an activity, fine arts, or athletics. But then again, like I said, thank you very much for being here and being patient tonight. And I'll give it back over to Mr. Howard.
Well, as you can tell, we are very prepared and very ready for the class of 2026. I hope you are just as excited to come to the high school as we are to have you. At this point, that concludes our presentation. We've moved our department heads and our guidance counselors and everybody out to the commons. If you have specific questions that you would like to ask them, you're more than welcome to move out there. Otherwise, you're free to go. If you have questions, you can contact any one of us here at the high school or email any one of us, and we'd love to talk to you. So thank you so much for coming, and have a good night.